All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. I got somebody real cool on the episode that's coming up on this episode. Bill Dunn out of New Jersey, and this is somebody that I think we'll get into it, but I've been trying to get Bill on this show for almost a year now. We've been going back and forth. He's busy, I'm busy. I dropped the ball, he dropped the ball. Hey, we're here, right? But you guys know the show. I bring on cleaning business owners. I bring in cleaning professionals. Whether they're from the industry, they're an owner, they're from the supply side, they're from the software side. The goal of this show is to empower the cleaning industry, talk shop on cleaning, and really give us the time to share the spotlight, hear some journeys, and talk shop, man. So again, who I have on, Bill Dunn out of New Jersey. Name of the company is CNS Cleaning. We got a lot to talk about. But Bill, thank you so much for joining me and finally getting the chance to share your story with me, man.
Yeah, Ricky, thank you. This is great. It's been a long time coming. You and I back and forth, emails and everything else, and with some of your staff. And glad to be here. So glad.
Awesome.
This is fun. Yeah.
Well, before we jumped on, you guys, we were talking about cocktails because you guys know it's called Cleaning Cocktails. I always love to have a drink or two with everybody, and I got a Modelo. I always stick to my Modelos or the Pacificos and Coronas, right? Bill, you have a specific type of drink. Why don't you share a little bit about what you're drinking? Because I never ask the other person what they're drinking.
Yeah, it's funny. So every year, I worked in the wine and spirits industry for over 30 years. So every year, about 10 years ago, I started doing dry January because I think everybody knows you can overdo it during the holidays. So today I'm drinking for dry January. I found this really good non-alcoholic brewing company, non-alcoholic beer company. I never thought I've never had a good non-alcoholic beer in my life.
Never.
But he turned me on to this stuff called Athletic Brewing, and this is their Run Wild IPA. They have a bunch of different ones, including stouts, but believe it or not, it actually tastes like beer. And this tastes like a really good IPA. So that's what I'm enjoying today.
Shameless plug, but maybe I got to use it, man. Maybe I got to check it out. I'm getting a belly. I'm getting a beer belly. That's what I've been told.
It happens quick.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, hey, it's been a minute since I had an episode, so I'm excited to be back on now that the holidays are gone. And, Bill, we usually start with, where the journey of cleaning started and everything, but I wanted to go a little bit further back for you because I have some notes, right, is you grew up on a farm, right? Yeah. I don't have too many cleaning business owners other than, I know I had one guest. He had a story growing up on the farm, but, I'm from Metro City, been born and raised in Chicago. I don't really know too much about living on a farm. How was that like? Is there anything that you went through in that point of life that you still see today is a big factor?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's put it this way. I couldn't wait to get off the farm as a kid growing up. When you're old enough, I mean, as soon as we could walk, they had us outside doing work. I still have memories of being in our nursery because we have a big nursery on the farm too, of helping people ball up Christmas trees to take away when I'm like 5 years old.
Wow.
When you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go out and take care of animals before school every day, and it's snowing, raining, sleeting, it's dark out, that's like the worst thing in the world especially when you become a teenager. But I had to grow up that way. My parents still live there. They're in their 80s. They still work on the farm.
Today, to this day?
Yeah, even to this day. We
wow.
try to get them to leave, but they won't leave. They just love it. So, and believe it or not, it's in New Jersey. So everybody thinks in New Jersey is like
correct.
Right?
Yeah, I think of it's a hustle and bustle. It's a city, right?
Yeah, right. But where we are, it's in a really nice place. We're near Princeton, New Jersey. But
okay.
But it's still the work ethic in me that has never gone away. I don't mind the tough stuff. I don't mind, going out in the morning and getting cold and wet and dirty, and that stuff doesn't faze me. So, when I'm working in an office, it's like the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. I gotta imagine, because if you think about, farming, agriculture, it is almost the epitome of entrepreneurs. Like the original entrepreneur. You have a farm, that's your business. And business never stops, right? Like every day is a new day of business for you.
Absolutely. And a lot to worry about. So,
and that was your introduction to family business then, right?
To the family business, absolutely.
Like to doing like to family business in general.
Absolutely. We lived it, Ricky. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you talk about it at breakfast, you talk about it at night. I mean, that's all my family talked about. And both of my parents own their own businesses in addition to the farm. So my mother owned a real estate company, a Remax franchise, and then my stepfather was a general contractor. So, and then my parents were divorced when I was pretty young, but my father, he owned his own truck stop. So, everyone in my family owned their own business.
Was there. The bug was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't start that way, right? Or you didn't out of college, or launch the cleaning company on your own, like CNS. What does CNS stand for? And help the audience. Like, I know you have a backstory leading into CNS, but like, it's not I had an idea to start a cleaning company. You approached this a little differently, right?
Yeah, it's like one of your other podcasts that I listened to, a gentleman in South Carolina. I think it was Eco Cleaning or Eco Cleaning.
Paul McCarthy.
Paul. So he had had a career prior, 20 years, I believe. He said he was in the insurance industry or something.
Yep, he was.
And, very similar story to me. So I had nothing to do with cleaning outside of just being somebody who was a clean freak at my house. I was in the wine and spirits industry for over 30 years and had kept growing and going up and up. And it worked for Jim Beam, which is based out of Chicago, for over a decade. And I knew at some point in time I wanted to own my own business. So to make a long story short, I used all my retirement funds, took the biggest risk of my life at 49, and purchased this cleaning company after looking for 2 years. I knew I wanted a service business. I never knew it would end up being cleaning, but I got lucky. We met a couple that had started CNS, and they'd run the business for 36 years and were ready to retire and sell. And we were able to purchase it from them. So, it was a big risk. I mean, luckily my wife, knock on wood, was on board and supported me in doing this. And she's my business partner now and has been from day one. But, I used 30 years of retirement funds to make this happen.
Wow.
It was either going to pass or fail. And I was in a lot of trouble.
Man. So, dude, so here we go. See, this is why
how I got there.
I started to unpack some ideas and bullets here, or bullet points. But all right, so you're 49. You've had 20 plus years in a different career, different category, because I have a lot of friends that are in that wine and spirits business. It's very different from what we do, right? What made you decide services though? And then on top of that, like cleaning, because there's a lot of people that reach out to me and they're like, hey, I want to start a cleaning company, or I want to buy a cleaning company. What are some triggers that kind of swayed you towards the cleaning industry and CNS in general?
Yeah. So the first thing is that I like the monthly recurring revenue. I knew I wanted to be in a service business, but I wanted something that had monthly recurring revenue where I could get a customer and I'd be billing them every single month. I didn't want just one time, a job. Like I looked at a cleaning franchise for tree services.
Okay.
That's a great franchise, but and the guy had a great concept. Is a neighbor of mine and went national with his tree service, but it was a one-time thing. You cut down somebody's tree, and you got to wait another 20 years for it to grow and cut it down again. They want that kind of stuff. So, and then I also wanted something that everybody needs. Every business needs somebody to clean it, right? So that was the other big trigger for me. The other thing is barrier to entry. I didn't want to find a service business like roofing or even landscaping, for Christ's sake, where, I didn't know a lot about it and it would take me forever to figure it out. Mm-hmm. It was just those kind of things I didn't want to deal with. I knew I could run a business because I'd been running my own business units for many, many years. And I wanted something that I could figure out and wouldn't have to rely on the expertise of, people that were already there or people that I had to hire. So the cleaning business, once I learned more about it, especially commercial, really appealed to me.
Okay. And I mean, think about it. It's not a glamorous industry.
No.
But those bullet points that you hit, man, that's what's sexy to me, right? Like reoccurring.
Yes.
We know that we're pandemic proof now. We know that we're recession proof. Like,
yes,
it's not glamorous, but I think a lot of successful businesses come from industries that aren't glamorous.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because
absolutely. My wife said that to me when I told her commercial cleaning. I said, I found the one for us. I said, this is really where we want to be. And she said, cleaning? What? No, I do cleaning. I said, babe, listen. And I told her all the things that were great about it. And she started to warm up to it. And, here we are 4 years later or 3.5 years later. And it's the best move we ever made. I love this business.
so that's, me and my wife started my business together with my cousin, and I'm big on family.
Yep.
I gotta believe that gave you the confidence too, right? Knowing that your wife was on board. Now, update me on, or not even update me. I know that she at some point she is a part of the business, but was she a part of the business from day one?
Yeah, she was, Ricky. Yeah,
Okay.
She was a part of the business from day one. I was lucky in that she worked in human resources. She was the human resources.
Lord, we all need HR.
Oh, yeah, for a large hospital. So in the area. So she really knew the administrative side of a business, running things internally, which was, not my forte. So she was a really good compliment to me.
Okay. And that's massive, man. That is one thing, like HR, payroll.
Oh, yeah.
That could bog us down as business owners. Because you could, I'm assuming, I actually know, you came in with sales experience probably, right? Like you knew how to build a relationship with clients. Coming from the wine and spirits, I know my friends, they're phenomenal at relationship building.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean we know people from the HR perspective and compliance. And I mean, those things can bog you down, man, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that was the other thing about after meeting with a couple different commercial cleaning owners that I found, especially from the people that we purchased the business from, is that they were not good at relationships, and they didn't put the effort into massaging their clients like we do. And I knew we would do. And I think that's a big aspect that probably a lot of people miss out on and overlook is, massaging those relationships means so much helping you grow your business.
Yeah, well, they say it, right? I mean, one of the things I know many people that are hearing have probably heard this, or you should have heard it, is new sales is great, but your current clientele is the best sale, right? Like it's the best revenue you can get because you've worked so hard to get in the door.
Right.
Now, open it up more, right?
4 times easier to sell to a current customer than it is to find a new one.
Yep.
There's a really great book that I just reading right now that talks a lot lot that. It's really,
you know the name or what's?
It's The Big Five for Life.
And Big Five for Life.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. The Big Five for Life.
Okay. Oh, I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah, it's really
Awesome.
It's really good. It's very inspiring, very easy to read. I don't like the stuff that's really super complicated and hard to read and technical. I mean, this is it tells a story. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. All right, so let's talk about. All right, so you found CNS. What were? I'm sure there's many factors, but what was the top 2 or 3 factors that told you and your wife this is it? This is the company. Was it ownership? Was it the concept? Was it the clientele? Because I'm sure people that are listening are always interested in acquiring another company, or if you're not from the industry and you want to get in, well, maybe there's some tips you have that you could say, this is what made you feel very confident in this purchase.
Oh, absolutely. So I had some criteria for myself. The first one was that it had to be within 45 minutes from my home. The second thing is I wanted it to be a business that was around for at least 10 years. So I could use the selling point of, a decade's worth of, of continuous operation. I was hoping to find a business where they had some good systems already in place, but they needed to be refined and improved. That was another big factor for me. I also wanted to find a business that had a lot of customers and they weren't reliant on just a small amount. So that way there was some protection for me. So, there was a pretty large break-even point to when I would potentially be underwater.
Got it.
obviously it had to be profitable. And then the other thing is I was hoping to find, and, I never knew if I would find, and this is just me, something, a business where the owners hadn't maximized the marketing value of the business, where they hadn't really done a lot of marketing. They hadn't maximized the marketing ability of the business, where there was upside with that. And so, for me, I was lucky. The people that we purchased the business from did a really great job of building a customer base, and had done a really good job of putting systems in place to run the business well, but they had done nothing in terms of marketing. I mean, and
the potential was there. You saw the potential. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But the thing is, Ricky, I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that the largest customer the largest customer they had only represented 5% of their revenue. So, they were so.
That's big. That's a big factor.
Yeah. Yeah. I've looked at I have some friends in the commercial cleaning business now that they literally will have 80% of the revenue coming from, from only like 10 customers.
Yeah. So that's tough, man. That's tough.
That's scary. Yeah.
I mean, there's points that, a large percentage of your customer can come from one customer, but if that customer is just growing, right? Like if that's the case, okay, now it's a little different, but yeah, you just solely have it. I mean, it puts us in a bind. It puts you in a tough situation.
And trust me, I love the big customers. That's what we go for right now. We're trying to find as many as possible, but
we're
up to the point where we're cleaning almost 1,000 accounts a month now.
Woo!
So, yeah.
Damn.
So it's
that's awesome, man. Congrats. Hey, well, that deserves a cheers.
Yeah,
that deserves a cheers.
Yeah. Yeah, here's to this industry.
So, Bill, what about, because I could hear people's, see their wheels spinning on. So you don't have the industry knowledge. You don't have the experience. You're coming into the cleaning space. What should people be scared? I mean, should they be intimidated about not knowing something about an industry and coming in? Like, did you feel you were behind the ball or ahead of the 8 ball because of what you had personally as experience from just that's just in general?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I was lucky in the fact that when we purchased this business, we were able to meet a couple of the leaders that were going to stay on for CNS Cleaning Company. And they were our VP of sales and our office manager. And both of them were tremendous individuals. I only got to spend about a half an hour with them prior to us actually, doing the deal to buy the company. But I felt confident in them and their experience. So we were lucky to have them. As far as for not knowing anything, I had to rely on my years of business experience and also hope that, I could figure out things on the cleaning side. But I would tell anybody who's wants to go into this to, don't be afraid. If you have a work ethic, and you're professional and you're organized, there is so much opportunity in this space that you'd have to try hard, in my opinion. Let's put it this way. If you're a hard worker, you're conscientious, you're organized, and you have a lot of grit and a lot of attitude that you're never going to give up, you'll do totally fine.
Totally. Now,
there's so much out there.
There's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
So, Bill, let's talk about this too, because I think you'd be somebody great to answer this. So you're coming in, first off, I'm sorry, you just reminded me. You have the office manager and the VP of sales still with you today?
Yes, still with us today. Yeah.
All right, so that means you're a good leader, right? They stay on board.
I try my best. Yeah.
Right? All right,
I'm just lucky. Yeah.
Let's now talk about month 1, month 3, year 1. Did you get into the thick of it? As a leader and the buyer of the organization, like, did you see that, hey, if I'm going to learn this industry, I need to do the work myself? Because I'll tell you, I've got people that will reach out to me and say, hey, I want to get into this business, Rick, and do I hire employees right away and make them do the work? And, I sit back and I collect the check. And I'm like, what? Like, what was your approach? Like, take us through that first year of, like, did you have doubts? Did you say, damn it, why did I spend my life savings?
Yeah. So, no, I got right into it. I mean, right away. I knew, again, I invested everything in my life into this. So, and I always, in every job I've ever had, I've always started from the bottom and worked my way up. And I never felt comfortable hiring people to do a job that I didn't feel comfortable doing myself. So I got right to work with our cleaning crews right away. I mean, I'd go into the office, I'd get in there at 7:00 in the morning. I'd work a full day, and then I'd go out with a cleaning crew at night. And I did that for about a month. Not every single night, but at least one night a week, just to get a handle on what they were going through and what things were like in the field. And also for me to see where we could improve things and where things could get better. Not only for our customers, but also for the cleaners that were out in the field doing the work. So, yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah, man. And I
open to that.
Bill, think about just the fact that, again, we're not, I have a friend, Michael Brown. He's always telling me, like, Rick, man, there's the $10 an hour task, and there's like the $100 an hour task, and there's the $1,000. So it's like, I always understood that, and I get it.
Yeah.
But what people have to understand, I think, is as ownership or leaders, like, it's okay to get back into the thing, to think of it, to learn something, to gain the knowledge, to go back and try to create better processes, right? Better systems. Like, I think it's actually helpful for us as business owners and leaders to actually make that a habit, and maybe you do it once a year, maybe you do it once a quarter, just so you're always, the team knows that you're with them, right? Would you agree? Like, they feel like you're side by side with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's integral. I mean, I do it every once in a while now. I'll go out with one of the crews, or I'll just do a spot check on one of our accounts and things like that. It's important to know your customer. I mean, especially, and also to know, again, what your teams are going through out in the field, so that way you can have a better understanding of what they're up against.
Yeah. Now, Bill, I know there's probably more than one, but what was one of the biggest challenges that you went through that first year?
Well, I would say one of the biggest ones is, and I would have thought this would have been true, is just the learning curve of running a small business, because I'd always worked in corporate America. I worked for primarily Jim Beam and Kendall Jackson Winery. And so, and while I ran business units and had large regions and things like that, I never had to run a day-to-day of a small business. And like you were talking about, like HR, thank God I had my wife, who's really good at that and the office stuff. But the previous company did not use QuickBooks. They did everything on Excel and by hand. So having to integrate that, there was no CRM for a customer base of, it was about 350 accounts at the time. When we took over, everything was just done on Excel and Word and
pen and paper, baby. Right?
Yeah. Just figuring that stuff out, it was extremely hard. The learning curve, like I said to myself my wife and I, after the first 2 weeks, like, what the hell do we get ourselves into? So, but we just kept plugging away. And then I think the next thing was, I learned some things about the industry that I didn't know, that I wish I had known going into it. So I'll share that in looking to buy a commercial cleaning business, I didn't know much about municipalities and government work. And the previous owners had built about 30% of their business on government work in municipalities, and bidding, coming in as the lowest bidder to secure the work. And they told me, and when I looked at it and I said, hey, this is about 30% of your business, tell me about it. They said, oh, these are contracts we've had for years. They always renew with us. They love us. That was complete BS. I mean, they got the job every time because they were the lowest bidder. So, and I didn't,
municipalities. That's how that goes, man.
Yeah, and I didn't know that going into it. So we lost our largest single customer. We lost at the end of 2019, and we'd only owned the business for 6 months. We started in July of 2019. We lost the biggest customer, which was about $330,000 a year to us, because we got underbid by somebody else. So that was a huge learning curve for me in terms of learning about, what the business, what the jobs were like, the revenue was like, and, what to look to.
But I would say that's not even a loss, because you know what? Like,
yes,
you are the business that you are, right? Versus the business that was before.
Yes.
You have different expectations. Not even higher or lower. It's just you have different expectations, right? Like I always say, my brother was a godsend coming onto my team because I was a top line sales guy, right? I was always like, you guys, I just landed $800,000 a year, baby. Let's go. My brother's like, well, what's the bottom line though? I'm like, oh well, it's 800. It's 800,000. He's like, I'll take 100,000 top line revenue at 50% margin, then 800 at 5. I'm like, well, way to freaking be a Debbie Downer. But it's the truth, though. It's
so true.
It's just different.
Yeah, that business now represents less than 3% of our overall business. We let it all go. Strategically let it all
Smart,
go.
Though. You did it from, that's you. That's what you want. That's your kind of stamp on the business now.
Yes. Yes, and that was, I'll give a shout out to you. I watched you probably maybe a year and a half. No, it had to be, we've only been 3.5 years, probably 2.5 to 3 years ago. I watched you on a podcast with the gentleman from, oh my God, Swept, the guy from Swept.
Michael. Yeah, me and Michael.
And you were talking about, somebody asked the question of, what do you typically charge per hour? And I think you said something like $27 an hour is the going rate.
27, 30, yep.
Yeah, and I said, holy crap. I said, we were charging at the time, the previous owner told me, don't go more than $17 an hour when you quote a job. And so,
what? Oh my God.
That's what he built it on. Like, he's like, I try and get as much business in the door as I can. And, his margins were really low. And, the phone always rang because of problems, because he wasn't paying the cleaning crews enough. And so long story short, I said to my guys, I had a meeting at the time I was doing meetings with our team every day. I sat down with my guys and I said, we're going in a new direction. We're starting this right now. And we're going at $27 an hour or more because we're in Philly. We can charge it. And they all looked at me like I was insane. And it took a while for them to embrace it. But when we started having the business come in, quoting it at $27 an hour, they started to say, okay, and so I could go on and on about that and how much that's improved our business. But that was a really big factor. And I'm thankful that I caught that podcast.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being a route user too, man. I appreciate you. That's awesome. You're one of the like godfather or grandfather users of the platform. So I appreciate that.
We tried them all. I'm telling you, we tried everyone. Proposify. I mean, you name it. Everything that I could find. That's the other thing. I'm crazy about that kind of stuff. And I showed the guys Route, and they tried Route, and they absolutely love it to this day.
All right. Well, gotta get you on Route Plus next.
Oh, I already talked to you guys about that.
All right. So now, Bill, let's talk about, because this is what really got me going. Because this is I do cleaning cocktails to give you guys an opportunity, give myself an opportunity to talk shop on cleaning. There's not too many podcasts out there or shows that spotlight the cleaning industry.
Yeah.
Bill Dunn and CNS had the opportunity to be on, it's called No Retreat Business Bootcamp. And dude, when I saw that, I go, Marley, my wife, Marley, it's part of the Route family. I know him. I know Bill, because I had no idea. I had no idea you were going to be on this show. So talk, and I actually liked the concept of the show. And I started to, I know who Joe was. I had seen him before. Yep. I was trying to do a Spartan race myself. And I know you guys you're fit yourself. You do CrossFit and everything. How was the experience of that show, and how is it carried on to this day? Because again, not many people get the opportunity to get on a TV show being a cleaning business owner. So if you could share some insight on that, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to do it. So I saw the show, just that they were advertising. They were looking for contestants for what they call the business transformation show. And I shot him, and I said to Kim, my wife, I said, hey, I think I want to take a shot at this. And she said, yeah, go for it. Let's see what happens. And so we applied via email, then got an email back and filled out a questionnaire and did a bunch of interviews. And lo and behold, they selected us to be on the show, the CNBC's No Retreat Business Bootcamp with Joe DeSena.
Yeah.
And the experience was I wouldn't say it was 100% transformational, but it was a huge kick in the ass to us,
I saw that. You could see that on the show. It was like, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. Almost literally. I mean, Joe would have kicked us in the ass if he could have. But he was a taskmaster. We had to go out to his farm for a week, and he put us through a number of different challenges. And we had to overcome, some obstacles to complete the challenges, including one, for anybody who hasn't seen it, where he put us in a boat on a lake, and we had to row the boat across the lake, but it was filled with holes.
Yeah.
So
that one's the funny one too, because Bill, I'm watching it with Marley, and I'm like talking to the TV. I'm like, well, why aren't they doing it? I don't understand why they're not doing this. Like, all you have to do is you got to go there. But that was the point, I think, is like, you guys are given a predicament.
Yep.
And which in our industry, like, you're given a problem. You got a complaint. You got a client you're about to lose. You have, a cancer on the team. Like, these are issues. You have to come together. You have holes in your company.
Yep.
But yeah, even at that moment, me and Marley going back, she's like, no, you got to do it this way. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? You should be doing it. So, like, how did that feel, though, after you guys accomplished those things?
I'll tell you, I mean, as a team, coming together as a team, because it was, a bunch of people from our team, we felt amazing after we completed every single day. I mean, it was just a sense of accomplishment, and some of the people on the team, like one of our team members, Cherie, she doesn't do a lot of physical activity. She was not really into the kind of stuff that we had to do. She'd been a lifelong smoker as an adult. She ended up quitting smoking, and to this day doesn't even smoke anymore. But we came together so close as a team, closer than we ever have before, and we're still like that to this day. Just being able to break bread with them every night. We shared many glasses of wine, tons of beer and Jim Beam.
And Bill, I think that's the point, Bill, right? Is like, people, like, I know processes, systems, they matter. They're super vital to the business. They're actually mission critical, right? But
yes,
I would tell you, people always talk about, Rick, the family business. You have a family business per se, right? It's like, it's the people. It's that breaking bread. It's the teamwork. Like, at the end of the day, that matters more than anything, in my opinion. Like, would you agree?
So true. Yeah, so true. And a sense of, that everybody cares about each other and everybody's going to pull for each other, from Kim and I on down. If your employees and your people don't feel that, then, you're going to fight a losing battle every day.
Yep. So what, Bill, let us know, like, so you're 4 years in now, right? I think close to 4, right? 4 years in the industry, owning the business. Up until now, what is one of the most rewarding aspects that you feel that you're very proud of, or just makes you wake up and say, hey, I'm so happy I'm in this, I have this business, I'm in this industry?
Yeah, that's such an easy one. So we work with a lot of subcontractors in the Philadelphia region, and in changing our pricing model like we did, we've been able to help improve, I think, hundreds of people's lives that were, in the cleaning industry in our area, by giving them opportunities that were very high paying opportunities. We've helped multiple dozens of people start their own businesses in the subcontracting realm of cleaning, giving them opportunities that they would have never had before, in partnering with somebody like us. And we've taken some people that were previously making like, never more than like 25 or 30,000 that are now making six figures, not only because of work that they're doing with us, but because I spend a lot of time helping our subcontractors that work with us build their own businesses, because I want them to be successful outside of CNS. That only makes us better and makes them better. And doing some work with them. There's an organization called Philadelphia Youth Networks. We do some things with them to help mentor some youth in Philadelphia. But I think it's mostly just being able to improve other people's lives by offering them opportunities that they might not have had before. I mean, makes me feel so good every day.
Oh, man, that is awesome, dude. I mean, that's what we're about. So it's like, it's funny to hear you say that, because it's like you're speaking our language, man. That's the way we feel about the space. And you're so spot on with how you can impact their lives, right? Because there's very different levels of people in our industry, and it's very fragmented. But
yes,
and under that 5 million in revenue space, there's a lot. There's hundreds and thousands of cleaning contractors that are fighting to get up there. You don't have to fight. You can work with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, the one thing that frustrates me when I've seen it is there are people, now I don't know if it's because they're afraid, and it's not really people that we partner with right now, but people we've approached to partner with us that just turn away and say, no, I'm not interested in being an affiliate partner, or I'm not interested in subcontracting. I don't understand why some companies, and I'm not talking about ones that are long, well established, that already have a strong customer base. I'm talking about ones that, are smaller, younger, growing, looking for business, that just aren't interested in it. And it amazes me,
come on, man. Like they got it. Well, it's because there's a stigma. There's a stigma. Yeah. People have been duped. People have been mistreated. Subcontracting is tough, man. But our model, same thing. Affiliate partnerships. It is. It's how we grow national. So it is. It's a big part of our life. And so I'm happy to hear that you're that successful with it too. Yeah,
I love it. And I love. I look at it as a commercial cleaning company, that if I'm able to take a job as a subcontractor for somebody else, I love it. I mean, it is the best. It's some of the best business that we get. And
well, think about too. You're learning, and sometimes getting access to an opportunity that you probably wouldn't have had, because let's be honest, getting a seat at the table with the larger contracts is tough. It's not easy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I welcome as much as we can get.
Yeah, nice. So. All right, so let's talk about, and we'll come to an end shortly here. 45 minutes. I like to keep it within that realm. All right, so you're in the business now. You're finding success. I'm happy watching you all the time. Like you're becoming more and more active on social media. Good job. You need it. You should be building a brand. Everybody should. What is some advice you would give to not just people coming into the industry, but people that are in the industry that sometimes need that refresh, right? Or that new turn the page of the old ways they were doing business, and let's do new business. Let's do it differently now. Like what are some tips, some advice, some shared experiences, actually? I like shared experiences that you would give.
Yeah, so I would say shared experiences wise, I would say, to me, one of the biggest things is there's a couple different things. Number one, I would say don't turn down any opportunity without looking at it. When somebody, I go back to potentially being a subcontractor for other people. Don't automatically look down on it. Don't say no. Look at every opportunity that comes your way. Make sure that you are close to the customer. Know who your biggest customers are. Really know your biggest customers. So, if you've got 5 customers that make up a large percentage of your business, you better make sure who they are intimately, and have a relationship with them, because it's much harder for somebody to fire you if they have a good relationship with you. The other thing is, know that mistakes are going to happen. Cleaners are going to make mistakes all the time, but how you address those mistakes is a big deal. And that's one of the things that sets us apart, is that we offer a 24-hour guarantee to all of our customers, and we truly mean it. When there's an issue, anything that needs to be fixed, we get it done. We acknowledge it right away, and we fix it. The other thing I'll say is always pick up the phone. I mean, not everybody has the ability to have a support staff like that, but I would encourage everybody in this business that if you're trying to grow your cleaning company and you can't have somebody answer the phone for you yourself, maybe invest in a service to answer the phone for you, because that's going to set you apart.
Oh, yeah, man. Trust me, been there. New Year's Eve. Hey,
right?
Babe, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta pick up this call real quick.
Yeah.
Because if it's not somebody else, it's got to be you, man. It's got to be
right.
You.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, returning phone calls right away. I mean, that's the other thing. It seems so simple, but there's so many times that we've heard customers say that, well, we came to you because our current cleaning company never calls us back.
Yeah.
Or
people do it. Bill, don't you think too? It's like, I've learned now, I actually like when there's complaints and we pick up the phone, because that's the difference. When you're calling back, like there's a couple individuals that still to this day, they don't care that I have an operations team. There's some of my older clients, they call me. They don't follow the process. And when he calls or she calls, I have a couple, it's like, I know it's a complaint. I know it. I know I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to hear it. And I call them back and I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? But they're like, I just love that I can vent to you. I'm upset. I'm not happy. Something's wrong. But you pick up the phone call and you answer the call. So you're right, man. That is a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I tell a lot of our cleaners is you can't take this stuff personally. You can't get upset because they're calling you and saying there's cobwebs in the corner of a back room somewhere. Don't get upset about it. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. A lot of people still do.
So, Bill, let's end with this. Well, 2 points. There's 2 points. One, I just thought of this, and I thought this would be a nice little sound bite too. Is you work with a lot of contractors. I work with a lot of contractors. What are words or descriptions? What makes a cleaning contractor good or great for you to work with? What stands out? What do you look at? What do you look for in partners and affiliates and stuff like that? Yeah.
So what we look for in a contractor is, number one is communication. That's the number one thing for us, is the communication. Do they pick up their phone when you call? Do they respond via a text? Do they, answer an email? And how quickly do they do it? Do they get defensive when there's an issue that needs to be addressed? Are they open to opportunities? Are they just going to nitpick? Are they also open to working on a sliding pay scale? So, for instance, if somebody's normally making as a subcontractor for a 1 hour a week job, $50 for that 1 hour a week job, but you present them with a 5 time a week job that is an hour per night, and now they're down to say $20 to $25 an hour. Do they understand the dynamic?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, between the two different things, do they understand that and appreciate it? And then that's the other thing is appreciation too. So if I'm going to somebody and I'm giving them business that is helping them build their business, that they actually appreciate that, and they don't look at it as an adversarial relationship. They look at it as a positive relationship. So those are some of the things that we really look for, because, it's a delicate relationship to have when you work as, hire someone as a subcontractor for you. And it can be an amazing relationship both ways.
Yeah.
Both ways.
I agree, man. That's why I like the word affiliate partner, like you said, right? You become partners, but a partner also has to realize there is both sides, right? Like you have to be open and you have to be, everything like you said. So all those that are listening, those are some great points, man. I appreciate those.
Absolutely.
Really, ends this conversation pretty good there. But I have one more thing. There's more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So is there anything left as far as what is motivating you for 2023, 2024, 2025? Like, what do you have left as far as wanting to do with this space? Because you're still fairly new in the industry, but like,
yeah,
give us your 3-year plan, 5-year plan. What's the ambition?
Yeah. So my ambition is to grow by no less than $1 million a year. I mean, that is baked in, that everybody knows that's our goal. No less than $1 million a year. And to add a minimum of $6,000 every single month in what I call net new business. And that means monthly recurring revenue of $6,000 or more. So when I say net new, if we bring in an account for 5,000 and lose one for 3, we only gain 2,000.
There you go.
That's because the thing that's so beautiful about this business, Ricky, is it's compounds. So if you bring in $50,000 on average more per month for the full year, you're starting off making $600,000 more than you did the year before. So it's just simple math, but it's so true. So that motivates me, setting those goals. The other thing is, this business is so much opportunity. I mean, if you run a business well, you work hard, you care about your people, you treat everyone on your team well, you're going to do well. And if you treat your customers well and you answer the phone, you're going to do well in this space over time. It may not happen all at once because it didn't for us. It took us a couple years to get rolling, but it does happen for you. And then the other thing is, I like creating opportunities for our people because I'm 54. So I'm not going to be doing this forever. So it's going to be passed on to the next generation of people, meaning our team. Eventually at some point, we're looking at options. So that way, when we're ready to transition out, it transitions to our team. So, we're looking at how we can potentially make that happen because we're going to do well financially, my wife and I. We put everything on the line to try and do well financially. And we're going to be rewarded with that, but it's all because of the team that we have and the work that they do. I want to see them do just as well, when they're 54, in their 50s. Yeah. So that motivates me to see them do really well. So when I'm 75 years old and I'm looking at CNS Cleaning Company then and some of the same people that are with us now, see how much it's transformed their lives. I mean, we've had people that were renting apartments when they started with us or were with we took over, that they own their first home or, they bought their first brand new car, things like that.
Nice.
That's motivating.
Hey, well, cheers to that.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers to that. And what that leaves me with is CNS team. If you're hearing loud and clear, you got some work to do. You have to keep pushing. This guy's motivating. This guy's, Bill, you're inspiring because I see the hunger and the drive that you have. So I just appreciate you appreciating the business and the industry and what you've kind of stepped into here over the last 4 years. So
I love it.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to share your story, listen to what you got. I heard a lot of golden nuggets. And you guys, if you're okay, Bill, I'm going to share some of your information. If you want to reach out to Bill, you guys feel free to ping him. I'm going to share his LinkedIn information, some information on CNS in general. And I'm even going to try to find that episode and put that on there as well, guys. So, again, Bill, thank you. I appreciate you. And then, guys, until next time, thank you for tuning in to Cleaning Cocktails.